Live from the City of Angels, Midnight Movie Money. Sunday morning, the numbers are just in box office, and you're looking at the Christmas corridor coming to a close. As you guys know, the biggest 2 weeks of the entire movie-going calendar right now, and you look at these films that are doing numbers during the weekdays that you don't see even in summertime because everyone's off, and that helps these films just start stashing more and more cash by the day, and you turn around and you see something like The Housemaid at a 4x multiple versus the debut. So that's what we're basically talking about here this morning, is the ability of these films to just stash cash fast. And we look here at Avatar. It's our number one film of the weekend. Again, 40 million here stateside, down 37% on the weekend to weekend. But you look at this film, and this is where we are the gold standard, right? We show you things that others miss. Yes, this is over $1 billion, as you can see here in the Disney email. As I make it a little bit larger, you can see this thing right now. Avatar, Fire and Ash, $1.083 billion. Now, I did my research. I dug up the third weekend, because this is the third weekend for Avatar, right? From Way of Water 3 years ago. Here's where we were. We were at 1.38 billion globally. So we are minus $300 million on the worldwide gross of Avatar 3 versus 2. I called this weeks, months ago. This film would not be as big as the last two. And yes, $1 billion still a hit. It's a $400 million film. So you're looking at profitability roughly at $1 billion. So we're into profitability. But you can see diminishing excitement for the franchise. I called that because the difference is, right, when you look at the first Avatar to the second Avatar, that time frame, 10 plus years, this time 3 years. And let's face facts. I have not seen the film, but you know I'm right. It's the same film over and over. At some point, we've got to move on. It's time for James Cameron to shut down all operations in the Avatar universe and to move on and give us something new. We've done this now 3 times. Even if it's profitable, right? Just because you're making money at something in life doesn't mean you can't change things up and try something different. Why do you want to keep doing the same thing? Don't you want to try to broaden your horizons, to work on something new? I hope that's the case, but we're down 300 million versus Avatar 2. And again, who's right? The ace, the gold standard coming through again. Let's do Zootopia 2 right now because I'm in the Disney email. We are already... listen, I told you guys this film would do really well over the Christmas corridor because there's nothing of substantial competition when it comes to head-to-head kiddie stuff. SpongeBob, but what are you going to pick? You're going to pick Zootopia, and that's what parents are still doing. 1.58 billion on the global. Call it 1.6 billion, okay? Yes, we're getting to Zootopia 3. But look, we just talked about Avatar. 1 to 2. The time frame, the difference, right? That long break. That's what Zootopia had. We had nearly 10 years, and that regenerates interest. We're going to talk about that with Wicked 2 here in a minute because that film is way under the first one, and all the mistakes made by Universal, that is coming up. But Zootopia 2, another huge winner over the Christmas corridor because of the fact that you're looking at those parents looking for something to do with the kiddos, and that was option number one, along with Avatar. Avatar is a family film, obviously. Let's go to The Housemaid because this is a really keen thing for me to talk about again because I called it. What I tell you guys, I said this opening at 19 million was not that impressive, right? I wanted to see that closer to 30 to 40 because you're talking about a beloved book. Here it comes, Sydney Sweeney, even though she's had her string of really big losers at the box office. This is wheelhouse stuff, right? And now this film is at 70 plus million. We are getting close to Anyone But You. So it's done a 4x multiple versus that debut. And that's what we talked about Christmas Corridor. You're stacking the cash every single day. Now, here's the deal. It's over, right? That's why this is called Corridor Closed here this morning, the stream. It's done. People are going back to work, back to school. All that comes to a screeching halt tomorrow, definitely on Tuesday. So you're going to see everything return to normal, and then we get into the doldrums of January. January, one of the worst months of the year when it comes to box office, comes to films that you're really interested in seeing. When you're talking about a Primate in a Greenland 2 as your new openings here on Thursday night. But you look at Housemaid and that 4X multiple. This is the female demo. This is people looking for something to do, just like the families. Women are, and let's face it, it's a date night flick too, right? Dragging the significant other to see the movie. I liked it a little too much on the back end as far as what we do to finish this thing in the third act. But overall, listen, it's a fun popcorn flick, and you can see audiences like it when a 4X multiple shows up. Let's go to Marty Supreme, because this is now A24's third biggest film of all time. I'm going to dial up the A24 email directly here from them. Came in very early. They're on the East Coast, the New York offices. They send this thing at like 6:30. I'm still asleep when this comes in. I'm like, can we just push this just a little bit? But Marty Supreme is up to $56 million after it opened on Christmas, the platform the weekend before. And then you had the wide on Christmas, and $56 million puts it behind Everything Everywhere and Civil War. And it's still surging. $12.5 million this weekend. Really nice hold. Again, I believe it was under 40, 30 some odd percent. We'll check it at the end. A lot of these films are holding strong. Like Housemaid was down 3%. Zootopia down 4%. Because, again, it's still the Christmas corridor. People are out shopping. They're going to movies. The real test for movie theaters is not now. The test is going to be in January, in February, like we saw last year. Remember how dead it was until what saved everything? Minecraft. I do not see a Minecraft, okay? Anything like that coming up. I think the best thing we have in the next few months is Project Hail Mary, but that's not going to be a Minecraft. Minecraft was essentially $1 billion film. We don't have that coming. So here, listen, right now, everything looks great. But you don't judge things on the best time. You judge them when it's going to get hard. And I'm telling you now, theaters are in huge trouble in the first few months of the year. I would not be surprised to start seeing some of these underperforming / even average performing theaters to start going under. We are seeing them here in Los Angeles go out as they're getting turned into apartment complexes. Listen, if a movie theater is raking tons of cash, you are going to keep it. The reason it's turning into an apartment complex, yes, you can make more money, but the movie theater's not doing what it used to do. That's what we talked about tonight on the Sunday Night Spectacular. We're going to have the Critics' Choice postgame show. Also, Leo DiCaprio, he's fully aware. Our movie theater's going to turn into jazz clubs, right? They're just going to be a niche thing like this channel. And that's the thing, is that we are headed there. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality. We can trumpet all of this great news here this morning, but this is the aberration. When we get into the early part of the year, you're all going to be like, well, look, we're dead. And it's obvious. We know that's coming. So I don't want to hear all of the AMC stock shills coming in here and saying, look, it's all sunshine and lollipops and roses. No, it's not, because we're going to turn around and hit some real dregs, and that's what you got to worry about. But Marty Supreme is, wow, what a success story for A24. And listen, A24 nailed the promotion on this film. You talk about the blimp. It's flying all over Los Angeles. You talk about all of the things that Timothée Chalamet did to push this film. He was all in on it. And I think that A24 deserves a lot of credit for the marketing on this film, because they really nailed that platform debut into the Christmas, the corridor. They nailed the release date. Listen, these studios are not stupid. They understand that this is when you want to drop a film like Housemaid, Marty Supreme, even a Sung Sung Blue. Song Sung Blue, whichever. Right? You look at these films, they're just available options for people that are bored and they don't want to watch football. They want to get out of the house. I'm going to go see a small film today called The Plague. So that's what I do, right? A24 kind of film. It looks like a nice little indie. I think it's up for the Spirit Awards. But you look at where we are in 2025, and I've got a really interesting snapshot. Let me pull that up as we look at Anaconda was number 5. And then I'm going to talk about Wicked. Let's do Wicked first, and then I'll show you where we are as far as overall 2025, because I've got the top locations and the top films, all that. Let's go ahead and do it tonight and today. Let's do it right now and tonight. I think it's a big story. It's a fun story. Let's do Wicked, and I go to the total worldwide right now on Wicked, which is, by the way, not even in the top 5. Is it in the top? It's in the top 10. I just don't know where. We'll look in a second. Wicked for Good, minus 200 million plus versus Wicked. So this is where we stand, and it's all but done. It's on digital, right? This film is over when it comes to theatrical. It might make another 3, 4, 5 million, but it's over at our number right now, $518 million. Now, might I remind you that the first Wicked made $758 million. So we're minus 200 million plus, 240, whatever, right? 235, whatever the number exact. I don't have the calculator in front of me, the abacus, but we're talking about substantially down. Here's what happened. Let's walk through the reasons Wicked for Good did not do as well this time around. Okay, number one, and it's very clear, number one, is that I can't believe Universal went back to back on this film. I do not like the year after year. Let's do it immediately, drop it. I know it's the second part. I want time away. We talked about Avatar 2 versus Avatar 3, the distance between the films. The longer you give an audience a refractory period, the better off your film is going to be. And I think this film should have been held till fall 2026, even as it is, which is not a great film. That's reason number 2. It's not nearly as good as the first. Also, we cannot ignore that out of control press tour. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, stacking so many events in there all over the globe. These studios keep doing this, and it's not a positive. You are burning people out. Did you guys notice all the social reactions saying, how much more of this can we take with Ariana? And just too much. Cynthia and Ariana doing this in this city, it just burnt people out. So you talk about 3 mistakes: a release date mistake, okay, a bad film, or not a bad, not nearly as good as the first, because I still recommend the film, just not as good as the first. And then you throw on the obnoxious press tour. And then you get a toxic trio, which brings this film down minus 230 million plus worldwide. So we're not going to get another Wicked. No way. There's a 0% chance we're getting another Wicked. And we shouldn't, because the second one didn't earn a third. And I'm actually kind of happy this film did not do well, because I don't want to see another Wicked. We're done. Leave that alone, okay? And let these actors go on to different things. Real quickly on Ariana Grande. I don't know if she can do anything else. I'll be very curious to see if Ariana Grande can do something different than what she does here. I feel like if she goes into the next film, Ariana Grande is going to show up on set and start doing her Wicked routine. They're going to be like, listen, honey, that film's over. I need you to change it up. You can't play the ditz. That's my fear. And I think it's a very real fear when you look at what could happen with that film. Okay, with whatever she has next. Let's go and look at the snapshot in year in review. When we look at the top films, the top locations, all of that courtesy of Deadline. I'm going to give them some love here this morning. I want to start with something that's always fun to talk about. Let's talk about the top 10 exhibitors of the year. And that is theaters, right? The chains. Which ones are number one? Well, AMC. The reason I always talk AMC and I talk about Adam Aaron, I talk about Windows and how he leads the charge. Look at the market share, 2.08 billion on AMC. Regal's number 2 at 1.37 billion. Cinemark 3, 1.32 billion. So close between Regal and Cinemark. Then Cineplex, big drop off there, 610 million. Marcus goes down to 224 million. Harkins, 155 million. Alamo Drafthouse, 131. Landmark of Canada, 113. Santikos, 91, and then Imagine Entertainment at 79. So AMC is far and away the number one theatrical chain. And that's why we discuss AMC all the time. And I also go down the street to AMC, which, by the way, and I talk about this all the time, and I never had the exact numbers, and here it is. Thank you, Deadline, again for this. AMC Burbank is the number one location in the entire universe at 23.3 million last year. It's the AMC Burbank 30 because listen, the Burbank has the 16, the 8 and the 6, add them together, 30. Okay. I'm going to, I believe, the 8 today, which is in the mall. Love it. I love the mall location. The theaters are smaller. They're almost like screening rooms. I can walk around the mall, get a churros, maybe a Auntie Anne's pretzel or Wetzel's. I'm sorry. My bad. It's Wetzel's out here. That is part of the big experience of going to the AMC 8, but it's number one. So whenever I talk about like, man, this place is packed, it's here at the number one location. I'm going to the Disneyland of movie theaters. So for you who's going to Raleigh or Columbus, my hometown, or Wichita, Chicago even, these are not even in the top 10. So that's the difference, right? I'm going and I don't see what you see if you go to your local place. It's like half full. You're like, where's all this money coming from? The majority of it comes from the West Coast. 30+% of the money comes from out here, all on the West Coast, primarily LA, but you got San Francisco, some Seattle, of course, but LA is just like, that's the king. Okay. So number one's Burbank. Number two, AMC Lincoln Square in New York City, 21.9 million. So what is that, about $1.5 million behind Burbank? Then you look at AMC Empire 25 in New York City, 20.2. AMC Dine-In Disney Springs down at Disney World, 18.5 million. Number 5, The Grove, AMC here in LA, 17.6 million, and it tied with Century City. You know, whenever we do those ticket sales on Thursday, we talk about Burbank, we talk about The Grove, and we talk about Century City. Why? Because they are all within the top 6 of the entire North America, all the chains. So you look at those both at 17.6 million. Then you go down to Orange County. Again, said West Coast, right? AMC, make that Regal Irvine Spectrum. That is 16.5 million. That's a huge complex down there. Massive IMAX screen down there right as you leave Irvine and get ready to get into South Orange County and head down to San Diego. Number 8 is AMC Universal, the other theater we always like to see how things are doing. But again, a top 10 location, 15.1 million. Cinema Cineplex Laval, Quebec is 13.5, and that's 9. And then 10th place is Cineplex in Toronto. Is it Yonge Dundas? Please help me, my Canadian viewers. 13.3 million at the 10 spot. So there's your top locations in 2025. Let's go to the top openings at the box office in 2025. Minecraft number 1, 162.7. This is openings. Wicked for Good, 147. So it had that opening and then just didn't end up holding because the movie's not as good as the first. All of that, right? Bigger opening, and then we dropped off. Lilo and Stitch, 3, 146. Superman, 4, 125. 5, Fantastic Four, 117.6. 6, Zootopia 2, 100.2. But look at that multiple, right? 1.5, called 1.6 billion, open with 100 million here in the States. It's doing so well overseas, right? A lot of these films, like Avatar, making the majority of their money overseas versus domestic. Number 7, Jurassic World at 92 million. Number 8, Avatar, 89.1. 9, Captain America Brave New World, 88.8. And number 10, How to Train Your Dragon, 84.6. And again, we did not hit the numbers we thought we would this year at the domestic box office. And this was the year where it survived till 25. Well, not really, because they didn't hit what they expected to. It was like 9 billion. We were under that. So that's concerning. Minecraft's your number 1 overall film, 423.9 million. Lilo and Stitch 2, 423.7. Superman 3, 354.1. Jurassic World Rebirth, 339.6. Zootopia 2, 337.9. Wicked is 6. Sinners, Fantastic Four, How to Train Your Dragon, Avatar Fire and Ash still going. That's at 250 or more now. It's at 300 million now, so this is a little dated, these numbers. But everything else is locked down. Sinners, by the way, 279.6 million. You talk about a Minecraft at 423, right? You talk about a Sinners at 279. You add that together, Warner Brothers came in and saved this year. That was when we were hurting. Remember that? We were dying on the vine. And this is where all of that matters. And if we're going to talk about this tonight, too, in addition to Critics' Choice postgame show. We'll do that live. I think we'll come on early tonight because I think Critics' Choice goes till like 6, maybe 7. We'll be on sometimes at 6 to 7. Whenever that thing ends, I'm going to pop on. We'll go off on Critics' Choice, the garbage organization they are, because it's totally it's a sham. And I'm going to tell you why it's a sham tonight. I don't just say these things. I've got proof. I've got all the receipts. That's what I do. And I'm going to absolutely bury Critics' Choice tonight. It's my job to take down all objectively those who need to be taken down a notch or two. And for sure, we'll talk about that. But also, we're going to discuss Leo and the death of theaters. And we're going to talk about everything that's going on in the world of theatrical, including a bunch of evaluations that I didn't get to until tonight. And then you look at the top 10 locations. Top 10, make that this weekend. Let's do it. Avatar, number 1, 40 million, down 37%. Zootopia is number 2, down just 4% on the weekend. Let me make sure it's popped up here. I mean, not that you can see it, it's so small, but trust me, I'm looking at it. I'm reading it live, okay? The Housemaid, again, up to $75.7 million, down only 3%. That is exactly what we expected it to do. It did exactly what we said when it opened. We said, even those is a lower opening, it's going to pop over the Christmas corridor. And now that we're closing it, look, Marty Supreme is number 4, again, up to 56 million. A24's number 3 film all time in the States. Anaconda is number 5. That film is only at 45, called 46 million, but it's still going. It's, I think the budget on that was fairly low. You've got the worldwide to throw in there. It's not going to lose Sony money, but I think they expected more out of that film, especially over the Christmas corridor. It's okay. I don't hate it. It's not nearly as bad as some people say. Some of the jokes work very early, and then the rest of it just kind of drags, and you're like, this isn't as good as it should be. We talked about it. Go back and watch the evaluation. SpongeBob, look, another Christmas corridor beneficiary. 57 million, opened at like 15. So there is your, basically a 4X multiple again on SpongeBob. David, out of nowhere, $70 million for Angel. It's one of their biggest hits of all time. Song, every time. Song Blue is number 8. You know, it's like it's already built into me as Sung Song Blue. It's just easier for me to say. 25 million on the total on that. That film, we're going to talk about that tonight. Talk about a film that never ends. It has like 4 endings. It's just like, someone die already. Just end the film. I mean, eventually someone dies, but it's not soon enough. Number 9 is Wicked. We already discussed that. Five Nights at Freddy's, number 10. 125 million on the domestic on that. That film's going to make them a profit. It wasn't that expensive. They keep those. Listen, that's what Blumhouse does better than anybody. They keep the prices super duper low. So that's where we stand here on this end of Christmas corridor. Now, tonight again, big night, Critics' Choice, a bunch of evaluations. We'll talk about Leo. We'll talk about Netflix, Warner Brothers. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of things going on here on this Sunday night. It is raining here in Los Angeles, so it's a perfect day to go to a movie. I'm off to see a small film called The Plague, and I'll let you know how that is tonight, live from the City of Angels. Thanks for being here on this Sunday morning. Peace out. See you tonight. Bye.